this is what I've heard one of my teachers says. If it happened one time, it's coincidence. If the same thing happened twice, now that's a clue. If the same thing happens 3 times or more, that is proof now that something is affecting them. Bedroom feng shui. So first things first, I want to make it clear that you guys have probably heard me talk about there's no one size fits all feng shui, right? You've heard me talk about that over and over again. So when I was trying to plan out today's live stream, of course, I can't do suggestions that should be done on a case-by-case basis. So instead, I'm going to preface this live stream by saying that there are structural feng shui and there are energetic feng shui. And this applies not just for bedrooms, it applies for feng shuiing the whole place, basically. So in terms of this live stream, what I can talk about is the structural part, okay? Because that one, no matter what your period is, no matter what you're facing is, the structural feng shui remains the same, okay? It will impact the experience of the people in that space very, very similarly, okay? What I am not able to share is the energetic feng shui. This one is a little bit tricky because I need to see a layout. I need to know what your period is. I need to know what your facings are. So those of you who have followed me for any amount of time, if you ask me a question on Facebook, on YouTube, and say, hey, my house is facing west, what can I do? That's still not enough information for me to recommend anything to you, because I don't have enough information to calculate the permanent energy of your home in order to properly give you energetic feng shui recommendations, okay? So I want you guys to be really clear here. And also maybe think about that when you're asking me questions later on after I'm done with my slides. So just really quickly, so no structural feng shui is no matter what your layout, no matter what your feng shui period or facing is, structural feng shui is still something that you want to be mindful of. And then energetic feng shui is unique to your home and should be done on a case-by-case basis. So now that I've got that out of the way, I am just going to quickly talk about bedroom feng shui myths. How many of you guys have heard these ones here? So huge bedroom feng shui myth. One of them is that you must, especially if you want to attract relationship, that you must have a pair of everything. You must have pillows for, enough for a couple. You must have two bedside tables and 2 bedside lamps. Everything must be in pairs in order for you to attract a relationship in your life. So this kind of goes hand in hand with this one here, okay? Having things in pairs is what I call law of attraction decorating, okay? It is not feng shui. In fact, I have had single clients who come to me specifically to activate relationship luck, and I tell them to move their bed in a way where it just so happens that there's only one side table that can be placed. And they're like, but don't I need 2 side tables? I'm like, no. It's the location of the bed that is more important. And guess what? Those clients, they found their partners. A handful of them have gotten married, and they call them their feng shui husbands. Just like how I use feng shui to attract my husband as well. And I'm going to be sharing some photos. It's been hard to find proper photos, but you're going to see some of the bedroom photos are going to have things like, you know, like the bookshelf, right? Bookshelf or whatever, wall edges, wall corners, all sorts of things. While we do want to look at poison arrows, the important poison arrow is actually external poison arrow. Now, you guys have heard me talk about external feng shui, meaning what is the landform, higher ground, lower ground, how's the road formation, what are the other buildings around you? Those are external landform. And if there are poison arrows, so poison arrows either from another building, poison arrows from, let's say, a huge, some countries we call it a pylon, like those electrical grid things. Poison arrows from sometimes a church steeple can be very pointy. Poison arrows from traffic lights, from electricity poles and things like that. Those poison arrows are way more important than the itty bitty poison arrows from your bookshelves. Yeah, picture above the bed. Is that a poison arrow? Maybe, but it's not going to kill you. And how are we going to live by avoiding all sharp corners? Tell me, how are you going to go through life rounding off all the sharp corners in your house? It doesn't make any sense, okay? So you don't need a red bedroom to inject passion in your life. How many of you guys have heard this one? The bedroom is supposed to be serene, restful, peaceful, yin, right? Yin versus yang, right? If you want passion in your life, you don't need to have a red bedroom in order to do that. You just need to find the right person with the right chemistry, right? Passion can happen anywhere, no matter what color you surround yourself in. And if you haven't heard me say this before, be very, very, very careful with the red color for feng shui. Especially if the red is something that is permanent. Permanent as in like wall color, cabinetry color, right? Those are not just permanent, they're also expensive for you to change out. I've had situations where I've told my clients to paint over a red wall, take down, replace their red kitchen cabinets because it's too young. And especially where the bedroom is concerned, it's too much. If you want red, you can put a red pillow, maybe a red carpet, maybe a red bed sheet, but you don't need to go overboard because too much red can actually trigger, those of you who know Flying Star, too much red will actually trigger the number 5, which is an earth element number. And if that happens to be your case in your bedroom, you're actually energetically shooting yourself in the foot for that. Another really big one is command position. How many of you guys have heard of the command position? Put it in the chat. Okay, so basically, the idea is that if this is the door, then the bed has to be here. On the, that the bed has to be placed, what's the term? Perpendicular to the door. And not just for bed. There's a lot of misconception about the command position, also about desk placement. I can tell you, even if you have a bed or a desk at the command position, but you happen to be facing the wrong direction, that wrong direction is gonna make things complicated for you more than having a desk or a bed at the command position. Okay, so forget about what you know about the command position. So there's also a myth of no sleeping under the window. You can see in this one here, right? Obviously, it's right behind the window. I mean, right under a window. Now, the main reason why it is not good is more for health purposes, especially if it's windy, if it gets, you know, it's a colder season. If you have, if you're sleeping under the window, then the cold wind kind of, you know, it'll impact your health, right? You might get migraines, it'll affect your sleep. Feng Shui wise, that's actually not an issue, believe it or not. And there's been many times that I've asked my clients to actually move their bed under the window. And again, they're like, but Safrina, you're not supposed to sleep under the window, right? I'm like, that's a half truth. It's not a Feng Shui issue. It's a traditional Chinese medicine concern. So if the best energetic placement, remember there's structural versus energetic, right? If the best energetic placement for the bedroom, for the bed, just happens to be under the window, then what you do is you just close this, have like solid or thick curtains so that when you're sleeping, just have the curtains down so that the cold air or the cold wind is not like straight hitting your head. So it's okay to have your headboard against the window? Yes, absolutely. Okay. So what's the proper way to face your bed? 1 in a million? That's an energetic question, which unfortunately I can't cover in here. In this live stream, we're talking about structural. Okay. I've heard something like chi rushes through the window and can affect the people sleeping there. Yes, that is true. And that's exactly what I meant with, you know, cold air, cold wind, right? So you close the door, you close the window, and then you have curtains down. And that's it. And I've had clients, at first they're very resistant, but I say, usually with bed placement, I get a lot of resistance. But I say, try it for 3 months. If after 3 months you still don't like it, sure, move it back. It's only happened once or twice, but and it's more of the client's like personal preference. But most of my clients are like, you know what? I actually sleep much better, and things have been like shifting more positively. So most of them, they just keep their bed placed that way afterwards. Okay, next one, staircase leading straight into the bedroom door. So this is the best, this is the best one that I can find. Hopefully you guys can see this. Okay, so you see the steps over here, and this is a bedroom here, right? And here's the door. Right? The door is right here. So this flight of stairs is aligned straight to this bedroom door. So the energy that comes into that bedroom is a little too strong. Okay? So if you look at this from above, right? It would be like, so the stairs are here. Okay, like, so this is the landing. And this goes up, and this is another flight of stairs going up, for instance. This one, if the door is right in front here, then the energy rushes into that bedroom a little bit too fast. If you are designing a house, preferably have it like off to the side like that. So at least, right, at least it's kind of hitting the wall, or it kind of has to meander a little bit to go through the door. Does that make sense? Yeah, like that. So you want it to go like that. So it's a little bit of a gentler chi flow. Okay. And then same thing here. If you look at this one, so you go up here, it goes straight into this bedroom. And from here, you go up here. This is the door here. It goes straight into the kids' bedroom, right? So both the bedroom doors are right in front of the stairs. So that is something that you try to avoid. If you already have a house like this, so the remedy would be, so for instance, this one, actually, this one already remedies it. Okay, they already have some light fixture kind of jutting out a little bit, and then a couch here, right? So that the energy, when it goes up, it hits these things here a little bit. So it kind of meanders into the room instead of rushing into the room. What is the negative of energy being too strong? And this actually is not just for bed placement or desk, it involves desk placement as well. You don't want to be seated or sleeping where the chi is too strong. It's not gentle, it's too jarring. Okay. Just like if think of it this way. I don't know if this is the best analogy, but if you need, there's a difference between a house that's right beside a highway, for instance, and a house that's beside another street, but not a highway, right? Less busy, less aggressive, less strong. What feels more peaceful? Even though both homes are beside streets, really. Obviously, the one by the highway is going to be much, the energy is way too aggressive, way too strong. Sleeping above stove or below the toilet bowl or sharing a wall with the toilet bowl. I get this question all the time. Safrina, my bedroom is above the kitchen. That's actually absolutely fine. What you don't want is to have the stove above, under the bed. So if you look at this layout here, okay, so the stove is right here, okay, stove is right there. Let's say if there's a another second level on top of this level, you don't want the bed right under here. You do not want to be sleeping like this. And my clients who have been inadvertently sleeping like that, usually they have health issues that is relating to the part of their body that is hitting the stove. I had a client where it's her neck, right? Her neck up where the stove is, under in the floor below, and she's got thyroid issues and migraines, doesn't sleep well. And then I have another client where she slept above the stove, but it's her feet. It's hitting her feet, right? So let's say this is where she's sleeping, and then the stove is like over here, right? And then she's got foot issues or feet issues. Okay. So that's for the stove. Now, for toilet bowl, again, it's okay if there is a bathroom above your bedroom. What you don't want is for the toilet bowl to be above your bed. Okay. So for this layout, right? For this layout, we don't care about the whole bathroom. What we want to see is just where the toilet bowl is. Okay. So if this is the upper floor, let's say this is the upstairs bathroom. And let's say, some homes have bedrooms in the main floor, right? So you just don't want your bed to be like downstairs like this. You do not want to be sleeping like that. And again, I get questions all the time. Safrina, my bedroom is beside the bathroom. Not a concern unless, so again, we look at the toilet bowl there, right? We just don't want to be sleeping where the toilet bowl is. Okay, it is fine if you're like off the side here. Even if you just miss the toilet bowl, so the toilet bowl is here, right? Toilet bowl is here. You just miss it by a little bit. That's it. That's all you need. That is all you need. Okay. Oh, and going back to the kitchen, don't worry about the refrigerator, right? The refrigerator or the sink, that is fine. You can be under them. Same thing with bathtubs. If you're sleeping under the bathtub, that's still fine. The main thing is the toilet bowl. That's the only one. I've had a situation where, so the client stove is here, and above it is the toilet bowl. The actual toilet bowl is right above here. Sorry, maybe I shouldn't draw it that way. Okay, upstairs. Oh. Okay, the toilet bowl is right here. The husband's business wasn't doing well. Lucky enough, the husband is a contractor. So I said, either move the toilet bowl or move the stove. In the end, they figured out moving the toilet bowl was easier. So what they did, again, just slightly, they moved it just slightly here. It didn't have to be a big renovation. And that was it. That's already the remedy. Okay. Is it the same problem with toilet bowl as stove health issues? Yes. Yeah. Stove is actually even more important because the stove is not just a symbol of how you feed your family by like making food for them, but it's also your financial prosperity because you need money to buy food, right? So if the stove is afflicted, again, over here, we're talking about structural affliction, not energetic, because energetic affliction can be many different examples, right? Are there remedies for sleeping above the stove? If you can't move your bed, then you sleep elsewhere. Especially if you're starting to have, it doesn't happen overnight, Marie, it doesn't happen overnight, but if you're starting to get health issues, you might want to think about your bed placement. Some clients, they love their king size bed, but because the bed is so big, I think there's even California king, right? Is California king bigger than a regular king size? I don't know, but they're so attached to their king size bed, they don't want to move their bed. So in that case, it's their karma. I've already told them what the situation is. It's their free will and their karma, whether or not they want to take that advice. I've done my part. It is king size bed. Yeah, that's the situation. And I usually just tell my clients, if you can't move your bed, you sleep elsewhere. If you don't want to downgrade your bedside, sleep elsewhere. Marie says, my family member has issues in health. Stove is below on their pelvis. And it's the health issues around that area, right? Sleeping, this is also very popular, and it is true. Sleeping under a beam or a bulkhead or a slanted ceiling. So here you see, the ceiling is slanted here. Over here, you also see that the ceiling is slanted, right? Some people can take this. Some people can't. And it's usually a health issue. Okay. At the very least, sleep quality is impacted, but the longer you sleep like that, the longer your body absorbs. What does the slanted ceiling or the beam does? Do I have a picture of a beam? Like even here, look at this one. This ceiling is so irregular, very irregular ceilings, right? It's just, and bulkheads, I couldn't find a proper picture of bulkheads, but bulkheads is basically where the ceiling juts out a little bit, right? It just puts extra pressure on you. And especially when you're sleeping, you want sleep quality to be as optimal as possible. Okay. So I was lucky enough. So if you happen to have, let's say, slanted ceiling, right? Hopefully, let's say this is the attic, right? This is your roof line. And currently your bed is here, right? Then try to put your bed where the ceiling is flat. So you sleep here. Okay. However, if your roof is like completely slanted like that, right? Everywhere you go, it doesn't matter where you put your bed, you're still going to have the slanted ceiling here. Then what you do is actually this one, 4-poster bed, a princess bed. Because what happens is same thing, coffered ceilings or cathedral ceilings, that it's a different structural issue, but it's still not good. Okay. For this one, because the ceiling is pressing down on you, okay, then the 4-poster bed kind of becomes the pillar around you, protecting you, right? Keeping the energy up so it's not pressing down on you. Okay. And then the other one that I saw, it might not be everyone's taste, but if you can see how this, they got a drape here. So here you see, oh, here actually you see beams, right? Here's a beam, here's a beam above the bed right here, right? And actually there's another beam going across if you look at this part, right? So this person is being sliced 3 ways. So you can see there's drapes, soft drapes to cover the beams. Okay. So if a 4-poster bed does not suit your taste, then do that. I know that even that is not suiting everyone else's taste as well, but you do what you can, right? Fans and ceiling above your bed. That's actually a good one. I'll answer that later. Sleeping in front of the door. So you can see the door is here and the bed is right here, right? Right there. So obviously, if you can place it elsewhere, that would be better. This is a structural feng shui issue. Okay. Again, because the energy goes through the bedroom door straight towards the bed. And if there are actually 2 people sleeping here, okay, husband and wife, let's say, okay, I usually ask my clients, who's the one sleeping closest to the door? This is when it's the people who are skeptical about feng shui, or at least the partner who's skeptical about feng shui. When I ask questions like these, and it's being confirmed with their actual experience in the house, that's when the skeptical partner starts believing in feng shui. Okay. So if this is the case, usually the person who is sleeping closer to the door, that's the person who usually has health issues. And I remember in one of my consults, in one of my consults where, so this is the bedroom, okay? And the door is here and the bed is here, right? So husband and wife sleeping. And so I asked, who's sleeping on this side? Who's sleeping here? And it's a husband. And the energy rushes towards his legs. So I asked him, have you been having any leg issues? And he said, oh my God. I still remember his face just like, oh geez. Yeah, I started getting like restless leg syndrome ever since I started sleeping like this. And it didn't click until I asked him that. So again, you guys were asking, what's so bad about chi rushing towards a person, right? Towards your body? It's too strong. I see these over and over again. And this is why, like, people who don't believe in Feng Shui, this is what I've heard one of my teachers says. If it happened one time, it's coincidence. If the same thing happened twice, now that's a clue. If the same thing happens 3 times or more, that is proof now that something is affecting them. You can, if you're sleeping like this, if you keep the door closed, fine, you know, it's like a meh remedy, right? It's not the best way, but again, if you can't move your bed anywhere, something is better than nothing. The better remedy is actually to move it away. So no plants in the bedroom. You guys, I love my plants. If you can see, like, this is actually my plant room. On the majority of my office is actually for plants, not for me. Okay. And we all love, you know, these gorgeous tropical plants. Like, look at that. This is Sansevieria. I guess, you know, I know there are plants that clean the air, right? I know there are plants that at night, they don't absorb oxygen. Those plants, fine, you can keep them in the bedroom. The main reason why you shouldn't have real plants, by the way, fake plants are fine. You shouldn't have real plants in the bedroom is at night, most plants actually absorb oxygen. So they're actually competing for oxygen with you. So that's a very easy one. I know I've just kind of let a lot of people down with this one. Okay, so Charo's got a good question about the last one. So I forgot to talk about remedies for this one. Best remedy, obviously, is to move the bed. But if you can't move the bed, then you should actually have, I know this doesn't sound good, but you guys don't want to move your bed. So you need something to block it. It can be, you know, you can suspend a nice fabric from the ceiling and just have it hanging here. That's one way. So it does gentrify the chi that comes in through the door. It doesn't go straight to you. If this door was actually, if this door was like more around here, right, like right to the corner, then actually having this maybe a little bit taller, like a bedside table that's a little bit taller, will help block the chi a little bit. Okay, again, it depends on where the door is in relation to the bed, but the best way is to actually block that. And I don't think I have it in my slides, but let me do this here. So if it's a small bed, a small room or a big bed, whatever it is, and the only place for you to put is with your feet towards the door, then same thing. You have something blocking the chi. Just a footboard is not enough because most footboards are still very low. right? If you see eye level to the mattress, what am I trying to say? And you can still see the person sleeping on the mattress, that's still too low. You want the footboard to be as tall as possible. I actually have a client who she ended up putting a chest of drawers as the footboard. So her kids sleep like that, and she's got a chest of drawers, and it's 6 foot. Actually, not even I think it's at least 5 foot, maybe not 6 foot, 5 foot tall. So you can't see the bed at all. Yeah. And the daughter slept so much better in that room. Actually, the husband, again, skeptical husband, the husband was like, he used to feel so bad for their daughter because she had such bad sleep. She would wake up, she's like, my 8-year-old daughter would have eye bags because her sleep quality is just so bad. And then the moment we remedied the bed, she not only, he's like, her eye bags are gone. And she's also less rebellious. Who wants kids who are less rebellious? Put your hand up. The Chi's affecting them without them knowing, without you knowing, right? So yeah. So we did no plants in the bedroom. Okay, home office in the bedroom, especially now with COVID. Most of us, we work from home, and not everyone has the luxury of an actual home office, right? How many of you guys have a home office in the bedroom, right? This is actually very common now, right? For me, it's actually not an issue because it's how you deal with it. The main argument against having the office desk in the bedroom is that you can't shut down your work brain when you go to sleep. But let me ask you, how many of you guys have your phone in your bed? How many of you guys have your tablets, your laptops in bed? How many of you guys still check your emails in bed? Even though the work desk is not there, you're still on your phone checking emails, texting coworkers, whatever, right? That's me too. So whether my work desk is in the bedroom or not, it doesn't matter. I'm a bit of a workaholic. It's hard for me to turn my business mind off, right? So it's more your own actions. Sure, when it's bedtime, you need to wind down. You need to shut off the work brain so that you can have proper sleep. That's more how you go about it, okay? It's not because you have an office desk in the bedroom. I can tell you, when I saw this picture, I almost spat out my tea. No yang or moving water in the bedroom. And this, by this, I mean a fountain or a fish tank. And this, I kid you not, is an actual bed. The bathroom door near the bed is not an issue. I used to think it was, but then the more I observed mine and my clients' experience, even your feet pointing into the bathroom is not an issue. Into the bathroom door, no big deal. Okay, so this one, this is actually a fish tank. These guys are sleeping with the fishies. Like, here's a fish here swimming, here's a fish here swimming. Like, this is nuts to me. Like, how is that? For me, that is not restful sleep at all. Okay, again, the bedroom needs to be restful. It needs to be yin. If you have the water pump working throughout the night and you have the fishes swimming, you know, moving the water, that is not yang. Okay, so if your kids want a fish bowl, not in the bed, not in the bedroom, especially if it's a larger tank. If it's a smaller one, like a betta fish, and it's just like a smaller bowl, fine, I'm okay with that. But a big fish tank like this is a no-go. Oh, how many of you guys are gonna be shocked by this one? No need, oh, no need, there's a typo here. No need to place bed based on qua number. How many of you guys have tried to place your bed facing the 4 good directions based on your qua number? I've seen this over and over again where couples are like, oh, I have to sleep this way and my husband has to sleep that way because our good directions are opposite. So you're sleeping like this, you're looking at your partner's foot. Are you going to sleep like that? Have you slept like that? I know some of you guys have. But some people have. I've seen that. It just doesn't make sense. What I can tell you guys, my lineage, we use qua number. But the way we use, or the way my grandmasters have taught us to use qua number, is a way that I guarantee none of you guys have read or heard about in books. Probably not even in the Chinese books. For those of you who took the first level certification with me, I'll share that one in the second level certification, which I'm hoping to do this year. That one you will learn about qua number and how to use it based on our lineage. Okay. What sleeping direction is considered your sleep facing? This has been very confusing for people. Okay. And for very good reason, right? So when, let's say someone says, okay, you should be sleeping facing west. I'm just taking an example, okay? Sleep facing west. And they'll be like, but Safrina, when I'm lying down, I'm tossing and turning. I'm looking this way, I'm looking that way. I can't be just looking at one way the whole night. No, and neither should anyone expect you to like sleep like a mummy, non-moving for the whole night. So, so in my lineage, the sleeping direction, okay, some lineage say the sleeping direction is, oh, let me do this. So you're sleeping like this. The sleeping direction is actually here. So let's say you have a compass, right? North, south. Okay. The sleeping direction would be south. It's where your feet, one way to see it is where your feet are pointing. Okay, that's the easy way. The proper way to, so this is actually something that I shared in my my group calls with my manifesting code guys just a few nights ago. Why bed placement is so important in Feng Shui. In Feng Shui, for residential, okay, there are 3 things that are really, really important when you're designing or when you're trying to Feng Shui out the space. One is the door. Where is the location of the door? What is the direction of the door? Okay, because that determines the energy that feeds the whole house. Second is the stove. Because again, like I said, stove is not just, the stove is symbolic of health, relationship, and finances. Okay. The stove is where when you sit down and have dinner, you're nurturing relationships with a family, right? So that is relationship. And if you cook good, nutritious food, that's health. And also, the quality of the food that you can make for your family, to some degree, is also dependent on your financial standing, right? So the stove is also your symbol of finances. So the stove is the second, I don't want to say second most important. It's two of the three most important things you have to place properly in a house. Okay. The third thing is the bed. And the bed is your symbol of health and relationship. But with the right bed placement, you can also activate money. So how does this work? So in some of you guys may have heard about yin feng shui, which is like gravesite feng shui, right? So in yin feng shui, so this is the tombstone, okay? So this is or the headstone, okay? In Asia, feng shui masters charge a lot of money to do headstone feng shui to make sure that the headstone is facing a good direction, mainly to ensure that the descendants, the ones who are still living, have a good life. Okay. So we put, where's my compass? I don't know if you guys can see my compass. Probably not. So when they're doing yin feng shui, looking at the tombstone, they put the compass against the tombstone to figure out what the facing is. So they tilt the facing of the headstone for the most auspicious direction. Why am I saying all this? Because for the bed, the headboard is kind of like similar to the tombstone. You're kind of, dead for the night, right? You're resting for the night. So when I help my clients with bed placement, we move the headboard. I put the compass against the headboard to see what is the facing of the headboard. That actually is even more, it's more precise work needed for sure, but it's also better effect instead of just looking at where the person's legs are pointing. Okay, this still works, right? When you're sleeping in your bed and you wake up, pretend, let's say you have a compass in your hand, right? You're sleeping in your bed and this is like the general position that you generally sleep on your bed. You get up with a compass in your hand, look at what direction you're facing. But the proper way is to actually determine it from the headboard. We are a week away from my next certification course. I have a few people joining me live at home. We're going to be in our basement suite. And then quite a few of you guys are going to be joining me online. I still have some spots left and questions as in, how do I place my bed? How do I place my stove? Where do I put my door if you're renovating or you're designing your house? Where do I put my work desk? We cover all that in 4 days. Okay. Those of you, if you're interested, I don't take everyone. I do have a selection process. So email me. Sylvia, do you mind putting it in the chat? I don't know if you're on Facebook or YouTube. Safrina@fengshuiandprosper.com. We'll do a quick selection process. And then if you're invited to register, then you can take that next step. But I don't take everyone. Okay. Do you need the first certification in order to do the second? Yes. And in fact, I don't publicly market the second, third, whatever higher level certification. It's only for the ones who took my first level. So, because I want everyone to have, even if someone's been trained from other schools in Flying Star, I'm like, no, even the Grandmaster, this is actually the Grandmaster's rule. You should still start from our first level because even our first level is very advanced compared to other schools. Okay. Is it important to have a headboard for the bed? That's a great question. It's not. technically, okay? We just went through the one where I said we measure the direction of the headboard, right? You guys just saw me mention that. And if you are, let's say, the headboard is a really nice to have, because then you can tweak the kind of energy that you want to receive when you're sleeping. Okay, so can I share screen? To determine what is the direction that is hitting. So let's say, usually I give my clients 5 degrees of the compass to face their headboard. So let's say 180 to 185 degrees on the compass. This is facing south. So they need to move the headboard, okay? They need to move the headboard and then put the compass against the headboard to find that 5-degree direction that I've given them. This is very, very advanced. This is like level 3, okay? So the headboard is good for that purpose. However, you don't need a headboard. You do need a solid backing. So even if you don't have a headboard, you still have a wall here, right? Like if you don't have this thing here, you don't have this headboard, you still have a wall behind you. You just don't want to have your bed kind of floating with no solid background, with nothing solid behind your head. That's the main thing. Yeah, I actually did find a picture where the bed is kind of like floating in the middle of the room. But yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. Are floral patterns not allowed in the bedroom, or can they be bad as well? That's fine. You can, in terms of like patterns or paintings or pictures, the important thing is, how do they make you feel? If the floral pattern makes you feel feminine and like serene, by all means, go for it. But if it feels too busy or anything like that, then maybe not. When I mention 180 to 185, that's not for everyone, by the way. You guys don't go and like place your headboard towards 180 to 185. That one is it's really advanced, you guys. It's matched to the house. It's matched to the person's astrology. You guys do not. That's the problem with live streams like this. People would take like a little example that that's my risk, right? That people will take a little example and think that it's applicable to everyone. It's not. Okay. So I just want to clarify that. I have a window behind my headboard. My feet is facing northwest. Is that good? I don't know. Because that is an energetic feng shui question. That is based on the period and the facing of your house, Hina. So in order to do bed placement, stove placement, desk placement, that is an energetic feng shui question. Remember when you probably didn't see this when I shared it, right? But I prefaced this live stream by saying that on this live stream, I can really only talk about structural feng shui, okay? Which is what you can see, the door, the wall, the window, right? Energetic feng shui is calculation based on what is the feng shui period of your home, meaning when did you move into your house? And then what is the compass direction that is the facing of your house? We go through basics of that in my annual feng shui. So if you guys have not joined me in my annual training, you might want to go to annualfengshui.com, where we talk much more about determining the period and the facing of your house. But when it comes to, Annual Feng Shui is not a certification course. It's like a baby step into the world of real Feng Shui, at least where working with me is concerned. Okay. But if you want to learn how to place your bed, your desk, your stove, it's either a private consultation with me or the certification course. Is bunk bed bad for children? It's bad for the kid at the bottom. However, there are bunk beds nowadays that that the mattress is at the top, and then under it is like a little nook, right? Like a little desk or a little playhouse or whatever. I'm okay with that. But if it's a bunk bed where it's like two kids, one on top of the other, it's the one at the bottom that will feel pressed a little bit. Okay. Yeah. Yep. If you guys want to do the certification, it is email me and we'll talk first. I do have a simple selection process. Okay. Safrina at fengshuiandprosper.com. Let me go scroll up a little bit to see, you know, schools of thought. And I can see that, you know, there's some truth to it in that if your head is pointing north, then your blood is going to be pulled towards your head. I can kind of see that argument, but I don't always have my clients sleep with their head pointing north. I go by the one, I look at the structural Feng Shui. Okay, and then two is the energetic Feng Shui. So I look at both levels before I determine where the desk or the bed placement is. Okay, I don't look at the magnetic field as much, or in fact at all. I don't look at that at all. The second level certification, for those of you who've already taken the first level, I might test you before I bring you into the second level. It's a lot. If you guys are still confused by the first level certification, the second level is gonna blow your mind. Perhaps not in a good way. You might not be ready for it. So Rochelle, work on the first level first. Because at the first level, you should know what is the facing of what is considered the facing when you're sleeping. Okay, which is your feet or the headboard. And they're both pointing the same way. Okay. I think that's it. I don't see any other I slept on bunk bed on top and kept falling off. That's another thing. I mean, outside of Feng Shui considerations, like how safe is it? Right? My younger one, she wants a bunk bed. She wants the one where like there's a little reading nook at the bottom, which is kind of cute. I can kind of see that, you know, the appeal to that. But I'm just like, what if you fall off? When I was a kid, I fell off all the time, and my bed is not even that high. So it's just, you know, my fear as a mom. All right. So I think that's it. We are how to get a consult. I'm not personally taking clients right now. My associate is, and he is trained and certified by me. And he is very good, but I think he's a little bit backed up right now. Again, email me. I am Merzi. Email me, Safrina at fengshuiandprosper.com. I don't know if you guys can see this. So email me if you want to consult. Email me if you want to be considered for the certification course. Level 1 is happening in a week. It's happening Thursday. It's 4 full days, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. Everything will be recorded. So I've got students who go back to the recordings, watch it over and over again to refresh their memory on the whole textbook. And after the course, we have a private graduate only Facebook group. So the learning and the teaching happens in the private Facebook group. The 4 days is for me to just like download all the formulas and stuff into your brain for level 1. Okay. And then you keep practicing. The more you practice, the more it'll stick with you in terms of, you know, what kind of elements you need, what kind of colors you need, what kind of remedies to put, what kind of activators to put, and all that. And that's really information that you can use the rest of your life. Yeah, if you're in the UK, join me. If you can join me for the one next week, because that timing is going to work better for you. So I have students coming in from joining via Zoom from Europe, from Middle East, because timing, you know, it's up 5-6 hours ahead, but still it's doable. The one in March will be Melbourne time. So it's March 2nd to March 5th. Again, 9 a.m. to 5 a.m., 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Melbourne time. So if you are in Australia, New Zealand, Asia, that would be, or even I've got a student joining in from Hawaii when I'm in Melbourne, because at least it's not middle of the night when he's taking the class. Yeah, that would be, okay. That would be the certification. So the one happening in a week here and the one happening in March, that's a certification. Okay. I'm not flying to the UK unless people give me a really good reason to. Okay. And so, yeah, so those who took the course, especially those who have taken this course and taken courses from elsewhere, I know it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, but they'll be like, oh, the teacher never explained it that way. Oh, now I understand that formula, why it was like that. Oh, we never even looked at this. Like, I don't tell the grandmaster, but I actually add in a little bit of level 2 stuff in there because I want my students to have good results, right? So, oh, I've got a couple of questions around mirrors. I actually go back to my YouTube channel. Even those of you guys who are on Facebook, go to my YouTube channel. I've got a long live stream, I think probably close to an hour as well, around mirrors and Feng Shui. So very similar format to this, where I go through, you know, a few of the biggest questions around mirrors and then short Q&As after that, okay? If you haven't been on my YouTube channel, I've got tons of stuff. I've been on YouTube 10 plus years. So I've got tons of videos in there. Subscribe, follow me on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. And I'm going to say goodbye to you guys here because after this, I have to go pick up my Feng Shui baby from school. All right. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care. If I am new to you and you love classical Feng Shui, meaning real Feng Shui that gives you real results, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell